let's talk about that. Welcome to the conversation where we will highlight several different ministries and various topics of things, well, that we just want to talk about. Sit back, relax, and join in the conversation.
Are you frozen?
I'm not frozen,
No,
are you?
I'm not frozen, are you?
Hi guys, my name is Allie. I'm the Director of Student Ministries, Young Adults, and Communications here at Newburgh. And today I have Garrett right over here, Garrett Lilley, who is the Director of Wolverine Christian Service Camp out in Lapeer. And we are excited to talk to him today and get to hear about the camp ministry and what it is like. Garrett is an awesome guy who I went to college with and have worked several different little camps with and partnered with in many things. So I'm excited, Garrett, to have you. Thank you.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Allie.
Cool. So we are going to start this off with a fun game because that's what we do in youth ministry and camp ministry. Cool. So Garrett, I sent you a list of items that we are going to have to find and bring back to this camera when you have them. So you don't need to take this with you, just run and come back.
Can I look at the list?
Yeah, you can look at the list. Nope, you can look at it. I'll let you count because you're out in the middle of nowhere, so your internet will probably get to me slower. So I'll give you the head start.
Okay. Oh, that's all right. You start from like 30, 29. 20, okay, no. 3, 2, 1.
Go. Something musical.
Peter.
Oh, dang.
Something musical. A record.
And mine was just this microphone. Nice.
Wait, oh, we're still going? Oh my goodness.
I found Oscar.
I found Clara.
Hey, look at our babies.
She was right in the middle of a nap.
So was Oscar.
Oh no.
Bible. Boom. I don't know where Garrett is, but I'm gonna keep going.
Wait, a Bible? Did she already come back? I don't know what's next. Something with Wolverine on it. Get your Wolverine merch out.
Yeah.
This Wolverine hoodie. Oh, look at you. These are available in the camp store for $25. If you guys ever come out and visit us, just let us know.
This is the best hoodie I own.
It's a wonderful hoodie.
It is. Oh. Okay, well, actually, you got me on that. You came in clutch with the pastor on the...
Doing this right before the interview.
Yeah, good.
It's going to prove difficult. Yeah, give me about 45 minutes. I need to take a nap.
How's it feel to be a winner?
Wonderful. It feels absolutely wonderful. Wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, especially being a loser. Sorry, Allie. One of us will come back in.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, on that, I guess the loser will ask the question. So, Garrett, we wanted to kind of reach out to you today and then talk about also like what you do. What is the ministry that you're a part of? How'd you get a part of it? And like just a little bit about Wolverine itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started here in Wolverine in April of last year as the executive director. I'm actually the only full-time staff member here. So pretty much any responsibility that the camp has kind of falls back on me. But most of my job entails kind of getting the camp season prepared and ready for kids to come along. So talking with deans, getting programming set up, a lot of preparation. People think that, oh, well, you're not having camp during the winter. That's like time off for me. No, ma'am. Nope. I'm on the phone, emails all day long. It's a wonderful thing. I grew up going to camp. That's actually part of the reason why I'm here today is because of a decision that I made while at a week of camp when I was maybe a young teenager, 13 or 14. And it was, I don't know, camp is a magical thing, and I'll get into that later, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, camp is really like a formative thing. So, as the director of Wolverine is pretty massive, especially to serving the local church itself. What are some of those aspects of ministry?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Wolverine it's supported by about 13 churches in the thumb and then down in the Metro Detroit area. But what we offer back to them for the support that they so graciously give to us is some top-notch programming. I think on our volunteers' part. So our staff that comes in, it's all unpaid positions that they volunteer their time for a week to set up all the lessons and the games, and just a stellar week for these students to come in and break away kind of from the normal day-to-day stuff that they might be experiencing. But we have, the church that I attend is right up the road, and the youth group that I work with, they're almost all camp brats. They come out here and hang out all the time. So it's really cool to see and interact with kids that have grown up with Wolverine being such a huge part of their life.
Yeah, definitely. In like, I've always thought about that too, like the role that a camp like Wolverine plays in people's lives. Like, I found Wolverine when I was on camp team, which is like a summer internship with Great Lakes Christian College that I did that with. And it has definitely been like a pull to something in my life where I've always found myself serving almost each summer at Wolverine. And then the Wolverine community has found me down here in Livonia, where I have had several students that attend our youth group either be a part of a camp that they go to yearly, like the Knowlton family, they're out there every year doing nature camp, or local youth pastors like Jacob Ray, who I had originally had been volunteering under, and then just like students that have come on our mission trips with us as Newburgh, but also continue to say like Wolverine was their home. So how much like when you hear that, like what's the feeling that you necessarily get from hearing like stories like that from past campers even?
Well, me starting here in just April of last year, so it's been, I've been here a full year and then just a couple months. It speaks a lot to the legacy that this ministry has to offer, and just the people that have come out and, like I said, with a servant's heart, spent a week pouring into these students. It speaks volumes. It's honestly a little intimidating for me to step into this role, to continue that forward momentum, to make sure that what I'm doing here is continuing to impact lives for eternity for as long as I'm here, and I hope to be here for a while. But yeah, it's a bit daunting, but at the same time, it's so cool to be part of something that, visiting these churches that support the camp, it's really neat because I talk to people who they were out here on the property before there wasn't anything, before there were any buildings, back in 1975, that walked the land before the churches bought it. So to hear that this place has been impacting lives for 45 years it's really cool. It's really neat.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just really cool testament to how important ministries like camp ministry, what that mission field looks like and what you do is so important and so critical to the local church itself, but also to just the global church as well, because you in a way get to like mold the path or show the path to people like, hey, you can do things like this, like you can be like me, or you can be like Garrett doing camp ministry, or you can even be called to go do ministry somewhere else, because you guys host also a lot of missionaries throughout the summers just sharing their stories as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so this camp ministry is so more than just like, hey, we focus on Wolverine. Over the years, there have been several missionaries you guys have partnered with. What does it look like to partner with a camp ministry in mission, like in that form? Like, how do you guys support those missionaries?
we had a couple missionaries come out this past year. One that kind of jumps to the front of my mind is a friend of mine, Bonnie Kabuka, he's actually from Africa. He was impacted by this ministry where these people they'd fill shoe boxes with gifts and things like that around Christmas time. They'd send them over, and some of these kids, this is the first gift they would ever receive. And along with this gift of, just small toys that people kind of put together, life-changing experience for them. Along with that, they're presented with the gospel message. And to hear him talk about how, to receive a gift for the first time, that's unfathomable. As far as I can't remember the first gift that I received, but he does. And It's really cool to hear that tied with this gospel presentation. And to see now Bonnie stateside, he's an advocate for this mission. He's a missionary for this program. And it's so cool to trace that line from that first gift that he has received to now watching campers here put together these boxes and take them home to fill with gifts to then, you're multiplying this gospel message. Probably an innumerable amount. I doubt Bonnie knows how much people he's impacted by him sharing his story like this. So to just be able to facilitate that story, and we just invited Bonnie out and told him to share his story, and he took it from there. And it's really, really neat to see individuals impact the kingdom in ways that I couldn't nearly have as powerful a story as Bonnie did. But there are moments in all of our lives that we all fit into this body of Christ differently. So it's really neat to be able to partner with these other missions and see just how they're participating in the body of Christ.
Yeah, definitely. And that is always like the coolest part about camp ministry is exactly that. We all fit into the body of Christ differently, where there's so many components. You have deans, you have leader volunteers, you have lifeguards, you have cooks, you have your wife Jen working the store all summer, right? You have multiple components to ministry in this scope. So that kind of brings us to this weird time we are obviously in, right? We're in a time that we have never imagined ourselves being in and having to do ministry in. And so this summer is going to look drastically different, obviously. What are some of your things that you guys are thinking about right now? What are things that we as a church, as our listeners, can be praying for you in this ministry as we go in the summer? And just where are you guys at with this? Yeah,
absolutely. So when all this kind of came about, and we started the kind of stay home, stay safe order, one of my biggest, I guess not concerns, but things that was on my mind for sure is support from churches. You just think, hey, if we're not in the building, giving is going to be down like that. It's just not going to be the same. And I'm extremely happy and blessed to say that the churches that support us have actually seen increases in their weekly tithes and offerings from their body, which is so cool to see. That church is not a building. It's not somewhere where we drive and park and hang out with each other, although that is a community is, that's a huge part of church. But to see that these people scattered across their neighborhood or wherever it might be, that they are still so tied into the mission is really, really cool. So we've actually seen an increase from the churches that support us in the monthly donations, which has been just, such a blessing and totally unexpected, which is, I totally shouldn't feel that way because, God's got it. He's going to take care of us. So the response that we've seen from churches has been absolutely incredible as far as giving is concerned. Some things that we've kind of had to alter a bit is our summer schedule. Normally we start around the end of June, but because of everything that's been going on, we recently had a meeting where we're just going to kind of shift camp back a bit. We still plan on, we're having all the weeks that we normally would have, but it's just going to be shifted back. And I'm praying at this point that things remain the way they are as far as the trajectory of how things are going to go, just so we don't have to make any more changes or do anything more drastic, because I've seen some of the larger camps that have decided to close for the summer, and I pray that with the recommendations from the government and the state and federal, that we can maintain this kind of place that I don't know, there's just this magic about camp that I pray doesn't get interrupted by this. So that's one of the things we've just had to shift a bit. But if you guys at Newburgh, if you just be praying for us and the decisions that we make, camper safety is our number one priority. So we don't want to do anything to jeopardize any of the campers that come out here. So they're going to be on the forefront of our minds with any decision that we make. Staff as well. We want to be able to minister well, and we want to take these precautions seriously. So just be praying for the decisions that we make moving forward, that we keep all that stuff in mind. And I have a great executive team, so I know that their motivation is right, and that's these kids, and that's the campers that are going to be coming out here.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely be praying in those areas, because you have a lot of tough decisions to make, and you know that it affects the students as well. You know, those are moments where they're like really high and they're looking forward to like this awesome week of camp. And so it's a weird time to think, oh, this could be a year where we do this in a very different way, but hopefully we can still do it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, definitely be praying for that. I really loved when you were talking about the observation of giving, just being up, and especially in moments like this, I think we really have seen the church as a whole, as a universal church, prevail. Like, I know obviously I'm friends with a lot of people in ministry, but still my Facebook seems to be flooded with a bunch of things that people are doing in ministry. So it's really cool to see that creativity, but also to see that it seems the church has not skipped a beat in this whole thing. And so that's really exciting, and I hope to see that continue so that we can continue supporting and working alongside ministries like you as well.
I'll just piggyback off that real. So I know this is weird, and this whole situation is way beyond our control. But something that's been really encouraging to me, like you said, is Sunday morning. Like, I love Sunday morning on Facebook because I follow all these churches that support the camp, and like almost every other post is somebody live streaming from their church, and people are sharing it. And I've talked to multiple people from different churches that have said that their views for the Sunday morning service has increased. They see people on their friends list that they've invited that aren't Christians watching the service because they got nothing else to do on a Sunday morning except scroll Facebook. So silver lining in all this, like, this is an incredible outreach opportunity. Definitely. Like, we've had this conversation among staff. Like, obviously our hope is to meet in person, but we have also just seen such an abundance of interaction and people coming either back to Newburgh, back to their home, or what they consider their home, and simply just via Facebook, and we're talking. It's like people are talking more than ever just on the thread every morning on Sundays, and it's just like very interesting to see that we've had to make a shift like this, but not just had to make it, but people are enjoying it, people are living into it. And that's the same every mission field, you know, right? Like, God changes things, he changes our environments, and he always continues to lead us in the direction we need to go. And I truly think, you know, this is one thing that he has played a massive part in, is saying, like, the things are going on in the world right now, but I'm still here with you, and these are the ways. And it's things like this, being able to Zoom and share ministries with communities all over, right? So so it's been really awesome, Garrett. Thank you for Zooming with me today. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's fun. One, for me, that as a friend, I get to catch up with you and see how you and Jen are doing out at the camp. And as well, just to continue sharing different aspects of ministry that still take place even when we are in this crazy time in life that we really don't have a way to define it, but we do know that no matter what, God is going to work in these moments. So Garrett, I thank you for that. And if you are interested to learn more about Wolverine, I'm going to tag the website in our description. So check out Wolverine Christian Service Camp and see, just keep up with them, see what they're doing. You can like them on Facebook, you can follow them on Instagram. You can reach out to Garrett and Jen on those social medias aspects and see and ask about anything you want of camp, or how maybe if you're interested in other ways that they serve. So explore those. The link is going to be below. And Garrett, again, just thank you for meeting up with us today.
Belsky, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm humbled.